All right, I want to welcome everybody. It is Sunday,
I'm
November
fine.
5th. I think we're all fine. 2023, 8:01
We're
p.m.
fine.
Central Standard Time now. Happy daylight savings to everybody. Thanks to everybody who joined tonight. We're joined tonight by Sean and Gavin, potentially Andrew if he hops on late. Guys, we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and it is to recap what monstrosity, atrocity, however you want to define it, game yesterday. Sean, you're fine. Gavin, you're fine. But are you really fine? Tell me how you really
I'm
feel.
fine.
Gavin, I'm gonna start with you first. Gavin, you say you're fine. It doesn't sound like you're fine
Yeah.
because I think we're on the same boat. Of we are very flustered, frustrated. Probably some F bombs that need to be dropped. How are you, Gavin?
I'm okay. I'm just kind of like to the point. It's like I don't know how to feel. It's like we can do some of the like extraordinary stuff, and yet we can't do the simple stuff. That's kind of where I'm at though too. It's like, yeah, if you want to step up and everything, that's one thing. But then if once we need to do something that's normal that we need to do on a normal basis, then that's where the problem I'm at. We just don't have a lot of execution right now is where my biggest whole frustration is on the whole thing.
So what you're telling me is this is a lot on the offense. Sean, you said you're fine, but you're not fine as well. Because let's be honest, you're not fine because I'm not fine. I know you've done already 2 videos on the Bedlam, and yours basically boiled down to, yeah, people can bitch about the refs. People can bitch about
I can say
the
these
so-called
things.
faking injury.
I don't know why I need to be here. You're saying everything for me. So
No, I'm not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, everything's hunky dory. We're good. We're gonna win it. We're gonna win out, and let's talk about tiebreaker scenarios, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about tiebreakers.
You want to talk about tiebreaker scenarios where we need some combination of like either a Texas loss and or a Kansas loss and or an Oklahoma State loss or two or yeah, we can have those conversations. Or we could talk about how we have a head coach who is more like a substitute teacher at the moment, who needs to make some hard decisions. We could talk about how
because that's a great decision.
Well, that's only that's only half the battle, and you got to go find a replacement that can.
And that's true.
Actually execute what you need to do. So again, I know people are wanting to blame the defense for certain things, and
I don't blame the defense at all.
No, you can blame the defense to some extent, but the thing I look at the defense with is like I see adjustments being made, and when our best player is not on the field because he has an injury the week before and he's a moral support machine on the sideline, a guy like Kip Lewis steps up and is literally the best player on the field. So Kip Lewis had a great game. Kobe McKenzie filled in for Jaron Kinnick, which
he was adequate.
I'm at the point where I want Kobe McKenzie to play. I don't know if Kip was playing Mike. I don't want Jaron Kinnick on the field much anymore this year.
I don't want Key Lawrence on the field anymore.
Well, you're going to have to Key Lawrence on the field at some point. Look, offensively, what's frustrating about yesterday and the week before is that you have seen that this offense can overcome certain things. They are able to execute. We like the last 2 weeks. If I would just give you the rush stats for the last 2 weeks, you'd be like, "Hey, we fixed the problem. We can run the football now, right?" You just look at the numbers. I don't tell you what the score is, who won, who lost. Like, we can run the football now. So I know we have talent on the football field. I know the offensive line. People are bitching about that, and I bitched about that, but O-line's not really the major problem here. We could talk about, Dylan Gabriel. Did he make some poor decisions or some bad throws? Absolutely. I expect Dylan Gabriel to not be perfect. What I do expect is not to go YOLO with your playbook it doesn't also doesn't help when your center is just on crack yesterday. And I know he feels really bad about it, but
on crack, dude. This is every game where he has 2 bad snaps.
Yeah. He has like 2 bad.
It's literally the running joke from many years ago with Landry Jones. He's guaranteed to have 2 interceptions. He's guaranteed to have 2 bad snaps.
Well,
he's a senior. Why is he still doing this?
I need Josh Bates to like be ready next year because like he needs to get ready. It's just what frustrates me is that I am so sick of this horizontal shit, and I am so sick of, like throwing the ball down the field doesn't mean you have to chuck it down the field 50 yards. Throwing the ball down the field vertically is like, are there any intermediate routes, a crossing pattern? I don't know, a shallow cross, something that's beyond the line of scrimmage, something like that. I don't know. Something you can keep. Like my problem with Levy is that regardless of how things are flowing, he has to run hurry up. No one is in a hurry to go 3 and out more than Jeff Levy. And this was a last year problem too. I kind of looked at last year and it's like, well, he's trying to overcome deficiencies we have here and there. It's like, no, this is Jeff Levy's problem. And again, just I don't think he's confident in what he's running. I don't think he has it in his mind where he's gonna not go with what works, or he tries to force shit. He just there is no easy path with Jeff Levy, because there are times where you execute plays and it looks beautiful, but then we got to stub ourselves in the toe. And I'm not going to sit here and blame Oklahoma State players, quote unquote, faking injuries, because if that's enough to curtail you and what you're trying to do, I hold you just as responsible as I do the other team allegedly faking injuries. So if that's enough to derail what you're attempting to do, that's on you. So I hold you responsible. And I've also told my dad this, and he agrees with me. So I've told people this before the season started. I don't want to hear shit about referees. You can talk about referees, this or bad calls here and there. I don't care how egregious they are, even if it's plainly obvious. We were never going to get any 50-50 calls going our way. It's just not going to happen. So if you want to talk about referees, you can be my guest. So what's going to happen? We're going to complain to the Big 12 and it's going to get fixed. Oh, it's not. We're going elsewhere.
The same Big 12 today that said we don't comment on judgment calls.
Yeah. So again, do not. You're wasting your breath. You're wasting your time going against officials. Ask Nebraska in 2010 how their trip to Texas A&M went before they ended up in the Big 12 championship against us. Ask them how that went against certain plays. How Texas A&M was allowed to play as dirty as they wanted to, and no calls or unsportsmanlike or personal fouls were called on Texas A&M. So again, just it was any calls the rest of the year that are 50-50, because they're not going to make it too obvious, but pass interference calls are judgment calls. So was it pass interference? And like even the commentators like, yeah, that's pass interference on Drake Stoops.
Dude, even the NFL heads though were even saying it was pass interference. It made the NFL, dude. But
they're college referees and they get away with it. So again, you have to overcome that.
But it wasn't even just normal incompetence referees. We're all bitch about referees and go, yeah, they sucked, or they did an okay job.
But you have to overcome it.
This was biased refereeing, though.
You have to overcome it, though.
But why is it always in Stillwater?
But you have to overcome it. You have to every time. Bad officiating. I don't care what conspiracy theories you bring to me, or if you even have a manifesto of proof, you still have to overcome it, regardless.
Right, and I absolutely agree with you. But you can also acknowledge at the same time, yes, there was absolutely a bias. Yes, there was. As based on what the Big 12 said today, I am not at all. Of course,
Makari Vickers is going to get called for pass interference, and their defensive backs against Drake Stoops are not. The end. You still have to overcome it.
So, like I said, I genuinely believe deep down
when the defense turns the ball over on 4th down 3 times for you, when they get a pick, and you get how many points do we get off of turnovers, including zero. 0 points off of turnovers. So again,
and I agree with you, because I can say everything of yes.
Like Billy Bowman gets you to the 50. He picks off an egregious, horrible pass at the 2, and I was rooting for his ass to go maybe he can go all the way. It's like, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But he gets you to midfield. And you can't finish the job. Again, you don't have a kicker. You attempted a 51-yard kick with no kicker, so that's on Brent. And of course, you ended up taking a negative play beforehand that would have made it possibly makeable. But again, no kicker. You have no playmaker at tight end. And so.
Well, and I agree with you on that. Is the OU did everything in its power.
No. I'm not letting you go with that. I'm not playing this game as rig crap. Fuck that shit.
No, I have no problem saying that.
I'm not letting. No, all due respect, Josh, I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not playing the rig game. We're not playing this game as rig card because you could say.
I have no problem saying it. I will absolutely say I will own it.
I'm sorry. I think that's bullshit. With all due respect, at the end of the day, you have to overcome alleged bias refereeing. I'm not going to sit here and say the game was rigged because Oklahoma had plenty of chances to win this game. So I am not going to be on here and sit here and just nod along with that. I mean, I'm going to vehemently disagree with you.
And that's
all due respect. No, not going to play that.
I have no problem saying it.
Oklahoma lost this game because of Oklahoma. I want to make that clear right now. I'm not going to play because when you say the game was rigged, when you say the game was 100% rigged, you're leaving this team and out. You're leaving Jeff Lebby and out. You're leaving Brent Venables and out. So I'm not going to allow that from my point of view. I'm not going to let that happen.
I'll go middle ground with you on it because I agree with that. That does leave that wiggle room for excuse for it. I'm not going to leave the wiggle room, though, to say refs already knew what the outcome of this game was going to be going in there. But if you actually execute your offense, you're not put in a position where you can have this conversation. That's my point. Stopping them from
how many times did Oklahoma have the football yesterday with a lead and could have put the proverbial foot on the throat and ended it in a sense?
And I agree with you.
If you take a 2-score lead, game's over. They're not coming back.
But here's the flip side of that. Why is it always? And I had to ask outside. I asked my mom.
Nick Anderson needs to catch the football.
I even said, why is it always the wacky shit is always in Stillwater and never in Norman? And you know
guess what? How many times? Guess what?
Same thing. She's like, I've been watching it for years.
How many Oklahoma teams in the past overcame it, Josh? We have a 91. No. How many Oklahoma teams in the past overcame alleged wacky shit? Way more times than not. We have 91 wins in this series for a reason. So if you want to call wacky stuff or anything, it's like that they still overcame them. I don't care if Sam Bradford was quarterback, Landry Jones was quarterback, Baker Mayfield was quarterback, whatever. Jalen Hurts is like one of the few quarterbacks to walk in and do something and just like dominate. I guess you can throw Baker in there too in 2015. But other than that, it's like, no. You gotta know you're walking into, a buzzsaw on some level. And it wasn't even that much of a buzzsaw. Ollie Gordon was the big threat. And a normal stat line, he had like 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is a light day for him lately. So you contained him to an extent yesterday. You made Alan Bowman look like the greatest quarterback ever, but again, adjustments were made in the second half. First half, he was amazing. Second half, not so much. So again, people get mad at the defense and mad at Brent. I see a man who makes adjustments at halftime and like things change. So again,
but
you can look at like missed tackles. You can give me all the stats you want for the defense, and that's fine. They didn't play perfectly.
Here's the thing: I don't think the defense was the problem. And as much as I bitch, moan, and gripe about Dylan Gabriel, he wasn't the problem yesterday.
He made some poor throws. Like
he made some poor stuff, but he's not he's always part of like, well, if he wouldn't have made this throw factor, but he's not the problem. Problem is what you said, and it's what I've said on this live stream for the past how many ever games. And Gavin, you're my witness for it. Is why are we not using all of our guys at the same time, our best guys on the field? Why are we running horizontal stuff when we don't have the capacity to run horizontal stuff? I get the X's and O's behind it. It does not work. Why is Stogner still on the field I understand that
because there's
back
nobody else there.
Did put a
There's
wide receiver there.
No, like Stogner's out there like a he looks like
I hate saying it. There is
he looks
he's a
like
waste of a scholarship. I'm going to say it.
He looks like he looks like a mentally challenged baby deer out there. And that's all we have, unfortunately. You got Jason Llewellyn doing cryptic tweets online that get deleted after the fact. I'm sure he's going to have fun explaining that. A dude's like one cheeseburger away from being 300 pounds, and he's like, oh, like trying to like act like why he's not playing tight end or making a play out there. Caden Helms, I'm sorry, the dude is hurt 24/7. I don't know what the issue is. Dude does a great podcast with the players. Congratulations, but he's a waste of a scholarship when it comes to actually having someone out there on the field who could do something. So Davon Mitchell can't get here soon enough, but they still got to portal somebody. They got to portal they got to portal 2 people next year. And that's along with like they got to portal more defensive linemen, despite how talented the D-line class, they're freshmen. Like you can't depend on an entire class of freshmen to come in and save your D-line, because all these guys that we have in our D-line that we may like or not, Trace Ford's going to be gone. Lualu's going to be gone. Who am I missing? Just like go down the list of guys. Most of those guys are going to be gone. Like we need we need bodies. Yeah, Bothroyd's going to be gone. We need bodies desperately. So you're going to have to go portal more defensive linemen, despite the fact that you're bringing in guys like David Stone and Nigel Smith, and I'm sure they'll learn. Well, they're most of those guys are going to be early enrollees, so that's a benefit. But at the same time, again, I thought PJ Adebawore would have a bigger impact this year. He's not, and I'm not holding that against him. But you see flashes at times, but he's just not ready. He needs like one more year. I think PJ can have a breakout season next year.
Be a monster. He needs that growth time.
Yeah, you see, I mean, he's that close to being like, okay, I see what PJ can do. He just needs another year of development. He'll be great. But again, just it's frustrating that I think the problem for the entire fan base is that.
Well, actually, funny enough, you mentioned PJ. That's a name I haven't heard in like a moment of. Yeah, you're right.
Well, he's out on the field. I see him out there, but he's not making
done anything.
Yeah, again, he's a true freshman. I'm not going to hate on a guy for not being the next coming of like, whatever. So,
but no. And it was just you're right. I haven't heard his name probably since Tulsa. And that's, I don't know if that's an issue or that's just
he almost ate Quinn Ewer's lunch on that very last Hail Mary throw. He came close to ending the poor young man's life. But it's also what you said too, and I want to point on that because I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right because I said it to Gavin. I've said it to Swiggy. You've also said we need a head coach, that we don't have it. I've said the same thing of we don't have a CEO.
I'm not on the fire Brent Venables.
No, we don't have a CEO yet.
He's not passing the eye test, and now this is the second year. This is now happening. He's not making game. It's what you said. I'm going to use CEO. There's a better word. Game manager.
Defensive
manager decision.
Right. Defensive adjustments are being made, but like the overall team on game days and stuff is a little left to be desired. So it's just a thing that's going to come with experience. You hope at the end of the day.
Correct.
You timeouts in the first half. They don't carry over like old school cell phone minutes. You can use them.
Timeouts. Good reference, Sean. I like that. That's really good.
I mean, but timeouts in the second half, like you need to get your shit together a little bit better in the second half, because when as many close games as this team is, how many times do we wish we had an extra timeout late in the game the past couple of weeks?
Probably
a lot.
2 or 3.
A lot.
So I'm just. This program as a whole, whatever happens at the end of this, they need to have momentum. You have got to find a way. It starts Saturday night against West Virginia, because if you go home in front of that crowd and you play like dog shit, and I don't know how much you're going to fix in a week. If you play like dog shit in front of your home crowd against West Virginia, who look like world beaters against BYU, I just think BYU is just awful. So, but then again,
which I'm very surprised in. I thought
I'm not. It's like they were. I mean, Keaton Slovis is hurt, so they got to go their backup quarterback. Who knows how long he's out? But you you need to handle business this week and find a way to. You got to go to Provo, and everyone circled that game. That was the one everyone's favorite game to circle was like that one. Outside of like some of the but everyone, Provo, got to go to Utah and play BYU, and it's likely going to be a night game. Who cares? You need to go there and see if now defensively BYU is solid. Offensively, they're trash. But you could say that about a lot of teams we played lately. I mean, not necessarily that they're trash, but it's like if you can handle business and you can get 10 wins and supersede expectations. A lot of people pencil this as a 9-3 team, and they may be right at the end of the day.
That's right.
They might be, and I'm not trying to fall back, but the problem is expectations all changed on October 7th of this year. That 9-3 shit went out the window on October 7th.
Correct, and the fans have every right to be disappointed. We thought we were going to drop games. You and I have all said. The ceiling was probably a Big 12 championship.
Dropping a game. I've expected this team to drop a game. So
we just think that it was against Kansas and against
even Kansas. Like I can live with the whole. It was a shitty rainy day. You got off your game. A lot of crazy shit happened, but you still had a shot to win at the end. If you had played better this week and got your shit together and looked like the OU football team prior to the UCF debacle, I'd be like, okay, it was a shitty rainy day. The weather delay fucked you up. You were off your game. Guys got hurt. You still had one mirror. You were at the 20-yard line with I could live with that. But the fact that your offensive coordinator fucked you again, and now, forget about college football playoff. Like if OU had magically made the college football playoff and just won out one loss or whatever, with one loss or whatever, unless they're matched up with just the perfect opponent, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're winning a natty. It's just that it's an accolade for Brent to say, I took this team from 6-7 to the college football playoff in 2 years. And you could build on that as something, hey, we're ahead of schedule. We made the playoff and now we're going to the SEC and the playoffs expanded. Like you build on that momentum. And that's the thing you need. I don't know how well Brent is going to be able to salvage if it falls apart the rest of the year, because Brent was able to sell, I'm building something new here based on 6-7. He was able to say, I'm building something new. I'm rebuilding the foundation. Here's what we're doing. He was able to sell that idea to recruits, and it worked. And he had a really good recruiting class, and he has a really good recruiting class this year on paper. We'll see what happens in about 6 weeks. How many of them sign early? I think most of them, if not all of them, will.
Should sign early.
Most of them will.
Yeah, if there might be one or two depending on circumstances, I'm not sure. But the point of the matter is, you have to win, because if you win 10 games and if you backdoor your way into Arlington, okay, you're still improving, you're still taking another step. This fan base ain't gonna be, because again, you won that game in Dallas. It changed a lot of expectations for people. It changed my expectations. I'm not going to pretend it did, because when they won in Dallas, it's like, okay, it's Arlington or bust. We got to go to Arlington now, and they still have a chance to do that because there's just certain matchups in the next 3 weeks. And I'm not even talking about Texas. I'm talking about, I don't expect Kansas to run the table or even Oklahoma State. The fact that I have to say that out loud.
Yeah, because Kansas has to play Kansas State.
Yeah,
so it's a tough game.
And so, and I'm not going to go too deep into this or what they need. You got to win on Saturday before I even go even deeper into talking about what needs to happen for them to get to Arlington. Because you need to show me something because you hear Billy Bowman talk about, we're 7-2, we're not 2-7. It's different from last year. That's great, Billy. And I appreciate the effort. And you did your best to try to win the football game, but
that means he's not getting it.
Your coaching staff is not putting you in the position to win football games.
I have no problem saying it. Look, like I said, I am not on the fire Brent Venables for that. I've said the eye test thing. I will say too, Lebby needs to go. And I've been saying that. And if he doesn't go this season, yes, there needs to be some serious talks, or someone needs to,
the
or
sad part
Josie
is,
needs to step in and go, he's out, dude.
the sad part is that if they do all the things that I laid out, they ain't firing Levy still. If you get 10 wins, you get to Arlington, they ain't firing him.
My tinfoil hat theory is after the Brile stuff, he was known he's not coming back, and he's just been dialing it in.
I mean, I would have bought that if they had shit the bed a lot more earlier, but I don't know. The whole Briles thing, that shit is such ancient history in people's minds. There are bigger fish to fry in the world of college football than no one remembers Art was on our field anymore. That was ancient. That's ancient history for the outside world. Like we're the only three people who are having that conversation right now. So, like Michigan, story number one. Grinch finally got fired today. That's story number two.
Well, that's true. But let's also add in too, because you haven't discussed it, Gavin. There's an important thing you have not talked about either, and Gavin, you haven't either. Another thing that we have not figured out is why this team is so, excuse my language, so fucking undisciplined.
Whoa, language.
Easy.
Oh, language. We
can't have that fucking language on this stream. Your dad.
Hey, watch it, Sean.
But no, seriously, damn it. No, we haven't even talked about that yet of how, again, Rame, we talked about this now, but then let's turn around and talk about, like, why are we still getting freaking false starts?
The pre-snap penalties and all this shit. It's a
snowball effect.
It's like clockwork. It's like, okay, we're about to have a pre-snap penalty.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's
like last year, I could have accepted it because of, I get it. You're trying to fix something. I can get over it. This year, I'm very much after the Texas game. Why is this shit in game 9?
I mean, you're in a hostile environment to an extent, but my God, man, it's just.
It's bad. Just say it. It's bad.
Like OSU did everything they could to hand us that game.
Yeah.
Like we handed them, here's the ball in your red zone. Can you score a touchdown? Nope. You kicked a field goal. All right, let's go win the game down 6. Oh, we can't do that either? Never mind. We good. We kicked a field goal and then held them to a 3-and-out and got the ball back again. I don't know how many more times the defense can bail you out and just
We can't have it's your running joke of OU and the Dallas Cowboys at the same time.
Can you please please don't bring them up right now? It's too soon.
Why?
God,
I don't pay attention to NFL.
Motherfucker! God fucking damn it! It's too goddamn soon.
I'm gonna have to go look. Anyway,
God.
Anyway,
God damn! You were on the 6-yard line, Dak, and you fucked it up. You were on the 6-yard line, and you get a false start. You take a sack. Fuck!
Oh, see, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you blew it, Josh.
I didn't even pay attention to the score. Regardless.
Yeah, I did. I was watching the whole goddamn motherfucking game. I wanted that one so bad. Oh, I wanted that one bad. CeeDee Lamb has a career day. Can't get a W. Career day. 191 yards. Can't win.
That sounds about
And it was against the Eagles, wasn't it?
Against the I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Now, do you even hate Jalen Hurts even more because of that?
No, he doesn't hate Jalen Hurts.
You mean Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts? Hate the fucking
Eagles, man.
I was gonna say you don't hate the Eagle, or you don't hate Jalen, so
hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Oh, God.
That was nice. But you know what kills me the most too, and now I've had to rank it up there for it after enduring it for 24 hours for a bit. I used to have Iowa State as my worst fan base. Oh no. Now it is the Pokes. It is just obnoxious.
Honestly, it's just hard. And I'm just saying, just from living on the east side of the state, where it's pretty much orange all the way up, I was, hearing a lot of folks, kind of just celebrating, where they finally get the win, and it's like I'm kind of at the point to where I am just so tired of the bragging rights, because everything in Stillwater, whenever it goes all craziness and everything, it's just a bunch of people going crazy.
You know who choked worse than us on Saturday?
Hello, Wildcats.
Kansas State, yeah. I mean, Texas almost.
They had it.
Kansas State had it, and they just couldn't do it.
Look, now to be credit, I am proud that Kleinman went for it on the 4th down. Like, go for the 2-point, go for that. That is what you should be doing when you are an underdog for that. Don't take that into a second. Win it right there. The play call was
Hello, Wildcats.
The play call was absolute, but just like Levy's 4th and 5, let's roll out. Oh, let's not even go past the sticks type of shit. Like, yeah,
any offensive coordinator on 4th down who throws to anybody underneath the sticks should be fucking fired.
I mean,
honestly, he should have been punted into the sun.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Gavin?
Here's the other issue though too, and I want your guys' opinion though. If this is the deal with and I know this is going to be, I'm going to be kicking myself to the sun, but if you fire Levy and then Jackson Arnold leaves because Levy is gone, will you guys be okay with that?
Then so be it.
Jackson Arnold's not leaving if Levy leaves. That is not happening. You know why? Because he's the fucking man next year.
Correct. The program does not revolve around one person. If he leaves, there's other people in the back. So be it.
But yeah, Gavin was person number 3, 4, number 4 on my list. But what if Jackson Arnold leaves? Jackson Arnold's not leaving. And if he is, he's a bitch.
Correct.
Just say it. If he leaves, he's a bitch.
To be fair, as much as I've come to dislike Caleb,
I'm more worried about
I'm
more worried about Kevin Sperry decommitting than I am Jackson Arnold. I'm not even losing sleep over Kevin Sperry, because Kevin Sperry moved to Oklahoma and is playing at Carl Albert. If he's not going to Oklahoma,
oh, don't get me started with Carl Albert, my dude. Oh man, they are so much of a juggernaut. It's like it's like a JUCO than it is a high school program.
You mean just like Bixby?
Oh, yes, exactly that. Except Bixby has all their guys go to OSU, and most of the Carl Albert guys go to OU. That's the end of the story today.
Well, that's where they made their biggest mistake, is going to OSU. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, seeing Presley going off crazy like that. Whoo, Nelly.
Gavin, you said since you're on the east side state, the one thing that's been driving me up the wall, and I saw it today, and it's just been under my skin, because I've seen it multiple times. OU keeps making excuses for this game. Why can't they? We get tired of being called little brother. Why do you keep doing this after we beat you? Because you tore down your goalposts again.
Oh, they're going to.
What's that? Little brothers.
Of course they're going to do that. But here's the thing. I'm not going to hate on those fuckers for doing it.
I will. Act like you've been there.
No, I'm not going to.
Well,
I ain't gonna do that today.
Is the program.
Let them celebrate. Let them have it, because that's the last big win they're gonna have in a long time. I promise you that.
Well, that's the funny part, because
let them have it. Let them have it.
Absolutely convinced that next year their home slate's great. I'm like, against who?
I don't know.
Arizona State. Oh boy.
I don't know. They have a decent slate in upcoming years.
No,
non-conference.
Non-conference. Sure.
They have some big games now. They got Oregon on the schedule and shit. They got some big games.
Yeah, but that's it.
They have to because we don't have it anymore. I mean, maybe they'll have big games against K-State.
Oh boy.
Hello, Wildcat.
K-State. Woo.
No, I'll never get tired of that.
Well, it's just like you look at their home slate: Arizona State, Utah, West Virginia, Texas Tech for conference. Cool. None of that is like, I have to go to that game. Cool. What's the biggest game on there? Utah's not going to be that good next year. A lot of their guys leave. Anyway, that's all I wanted to gripe on, Gavin. It's just that shit drives me up the wall for it, when you literally have people going out there and sawing off the goalpost, where it's like, it's a collector's item. You know who does that? Little brothers do. That's why OU does not.
No, I'm not going to rip on Oklahoma State today. I'm not going to do it. They won.
Oh, I will. I have no problems ripping on.
I'm not doing that shit today. No, I'm not going to be that. I'm I ain't gonna be that OU fan today. They
Oh,
won.
you may not.
They got that win. No, that game counts for like 90 wins, and they have now caught up with us or surpassed us in win total. So let them. That's fine. I'm not going to be that. I'm not concerned about the Pokes anymore. I never have to see them again. If they want to talk about remember 2023, that's fine. Like hopefully by 2027 we're off to bigger and better things. And it's like I can't hear you from all the way down there. That's the one little poke I'll give them to the Pokes. So I'm more worried about beating West Virginia this week. And I can't name a player.
What's funny, which is funny now, obviously. 3 weeks difference. We said it on stream of, are you worried about West Virginia? No. 3 weeks later, yes, but that's
I am now, not because of West Virginia, it's because our team can't get out of its own fucking way. That's what I'm worried about.
Correct.
It's not West Virginia. It's the team that's supposed to allegedly beat West Virginia that I'm worried about.
Correct.
Yeah, where's that fire that we had when they were at
Garrett Green does not put the fear of God into me. It's the fact that our offense, when handed the ball, will they be able to go down the field?
Gavin, the reason the team you saw in Dallas stayed in Dallas, and I'm going to say some of it's due to injury. Some of it is mental lapse with it.
This team lost to Oklahoma State by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I would like to believe we could beat them if we show up. Could we hand them the football?
I mean, if you want a complete derailment of the season, like a complete hardcore derail, lose at home next week.
Yeah, lose at home.
The Bluebirds will be out, and as they should be.
Yeah,
I have no problems.
Yeah, Black Friday game against TCU when no one gives a
That's
shit.
the thing that drives me nuts too. I don't understand how an OC can make some of the calls he does. It makes like $2 million to make those calls. I can go out there and make better calls. I'm just saying, but yeah, if you want the crowd, you want the fan base to basically abandon you this season, all that goodwill you got from Texas earlier this season, lose at home to West Virginia.
This team needs a fucking tight end that's not useless. I wish they did. It'll help the offense. Whoever's calling plays next year, it will help the offense greatly. To have a tight end that is not completely useless.
I would also love it too, and we finally got to see a little bit of flashes of it. I would love for our O-line to get past the first level and get to the linebackers. That's been something I've been missing for some time. I just don't know why, but it's like we cannot.
Well, I watched Gavin Sacha get like a 60-yard TD run.
Look.
I'm like, is that allowed? I didn't know we were allowed to do that this year.
Yes. I mean, that's the problem. It's like that was probably that's probably the longest touchdown run that we've had all season. I'm talking about all season.
Yeah.
Previous was like the 30-yarder against UCF.
I think so.
I mean, honestly, this is kind of the point. It's like, if anything, I'm having more issues with this O-line itself, because if we cannot block and get to the second level and basically beat these linebackers and everything for these sort of huge runs.
Gavin, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Because, again, you are, and I throw all credit to you for it. You know X's and O's way better than I do. 100%. I will never, ever say against that. Are you on the same of the boat? And Sean, feel free to, I don't know where you're at on it. About a week ago, I was like, I'm not there yet. But do you think Bill Beanenbow should be in the same discussion as Levy at this point?
No. Bill Beanenbow don't call plays.
So.
You don't call plays. You want to talk about
the O-line being so bad. Okay, they're not.
I don't think the O-line. I do not think the O-line is not as bad as you think it is, in my opinion. This is play.
Okay, maybe I'm
now look. I'm gonna sit now. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're perfect, or I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they haven't, because they keep playing different guys because Walter Rouse is dinged up half the time, or they keep trying to force feed Savion Byrd. If you want to complain about that shit, fine. But Green was out there, Walter Rouse is out there, Guyton is out there. Like, the starting five is out there that I want. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not holding, I'm not.
Let me ask in a different direction.
The play calling fucking sucks. Is why.
Let me ask it and that's fair. Let me ask this in a different direction. Do you see the O-line taking the leap that it needs to, where we go, okay, we've had some rough patches.
We're in November.
Under Schmidt.
We're in November. It's as good as it's going to get.
I'm talking next year. Like, is
next year? Well, next year you got to replace some guys. So,
but do you think they will be able to take that jump?
You can't. I don't know because you got to replace. You're probably. I don't know. Is Ramus senior this
senior?
year?
I think
Rames is senior.
So Rames gone. So you're in theory, if things go the way you want it, which they never do, but Joshua Bates is likely going to be your new center. You would think. Caden Green's going to be on your line. Tyler Guyton.
I think he jumps in the NFL.
It all depends what his draft grade is. If he can get convinced, listen, you do what you did in the SEC, you're guaranteed to be like a top 10 pick. That's the conversation you may or may not have. I think we're in this wonderful little middle ground area where Guyton is playing just good enough to not quite go pro yet. If he comes back and has a senior year that's awesome, then he can really increase his draft stock. That's kind of, and you can mitigate that with NIL and shit like that. Okay, listen, you come back another year,
sure.
You really up your draft stock. You do what you do against SEC opponents. It's going to skyrocket. I think you can sell that to him if he's a borderline day one pick. That's dangerous. I mean, you can convince him. You can change that borderline to guaranteed if you come back one more year. Because day one money is different from day 2 and day 3 money. So, Sexton is likely going to be your left tackle next year. So, again, even guys you think are experienced or have high upside, it's going to take 4 or 5 weeks for them to gel next year if you think you have your 5. And that's if you're lucky you don't deal with any injuries. It takes till October for your O-line to really start gelling.
To be fair, that is if you're a beaten bow, that is a perfect position for you to be in, where it's like, give it time type of deal. They're not there.
Well, no,
yet,
this is any O-line. This is any O-line, unless you have like the guys from 17 to 18, where it's like, okay, I know. Where the only difference is you switch out Eric Wren for Creed. I mean, like we were blessed to have the O-lines we had in 17 and 18. Like, my God, those O-lines were beasts. All of those guys were beasts. Like, most of them are in the league. So it's just like, I'm more worried about replacing guys in the D-line just because of numbers attrition, because we just need bodies more than anything. So we will probably take a lease, or we will kick the tires on some. We need bodies. Come on over. It's not to say you can't get any. Now, the Texas A&M market might be opening soon, based on because
what's going. I mean, I know stuff's not happening at Texas A&M type of deal, but I mean,
Jimbo Fisher keeps failing, and they lost again, and so come on, guys, second chance opportunities. Come on over, guys. We need bodies. SEC, come on over. It's all right.
But do you think who's the most likely one to finally jump ship, though?
I don't know. Just like I don't have that answer, but it's like I love trolling the Aggies with with shopping cart gifts and saying, let's take a look at the Aggie roster and see who can kind of come on over to our locker room and get better.
Just make sure they protect the family jewels.
David Hicks, come on down. Welcome back to Norman. So how are things?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, make sure they protect the family jewels, because you got one guy that got punched in the nuts.
I wasn't really watching that game. I saw it happen, but So again, I love, like, almost the entire class is going to be early enrollees in spring. So. The only one who's not is Taylor Tatum for the most part. like right now, it's like Taylor Tatum and like Patterson McDonald. I think is not going to be. I think he's like. I think it's him and Taylor Tatum, but pretty much everybody at this point is early enrollee. J.R. Sandlin's basically politely telling on Twitter, Eddie Pierre-Louis and Grant Bricks, are you guys going to fucking commit or what? In his very nice Jesus-y way, where he says, the Lord says you should probably make a decision like right now, because we got to go to our second choices if you don't if you go elsewhere. Because they need offensive linemen too.
Yeah.
They got a portal on both sides. That's what's out there. There will be guys entering the portal. There'll probably be guys entering the portal for us too, more than likely.
Yeah.
Like some running backs might leave. I don't blame them if they do.
I mean, honestly, we got too full of a running back, and there's just not enough mouths to feed, if anything.
Well, when you don't give guys a fucking chance, I was expecting a heavy dose of Caleb Hicks, but the only reason I don't complain because the running game wasn't really a problem. Gavin Sawchuk looks like Gavin Sawchuk that I heard about, and then Tommy Walker got in the second half because he felt good enough to go. So again, that's what's fucking frustrating with this whole thing. All these the problems we were talking about like months ago. Hey, we can run the ball a little bit, but now we're losing games. So, fucking hell. But that's where we're at right now. We are out of any conversation for meaningful postseason talk. I'm sure we can talk about what meaningless bowl game they'll eventually end up, and we're about a month away from my annual Onikuno is a bad fan because he doesn't like minor bowl games like no one should give a shit about.
Because you already know it's our track is
you didn't go to the Cheez-It Bowl and you live close by. You're a bad fan. Yeah, I didn't waste like a couple $100 on a game that didn't really fucking matter.
Sean, you're thousands of miles away from Shreveport and didn't go to the bowl game years ago. You're a bad fan.
No. Well, no. I got ripped on because I didn't go to the fucking Cheez-It Bowl. It was like just add to the fact that like my fucking health was like up and down all fucking back half of the season. It's like, yeah, I'm not really in the mental or physical capacity to sit in the fucking Citrus Bowl for 3 hours. And it was a packed house too. So it was one of the few bowl games where people did kind of give a shit about. So, because it was a helmet game and so people showed up.
It was Orlando though. Like for OU fans, yeah, we're gonna go to the Cheez-It Bowl.
People don't realize the Citrus Bowl's in the shitty part of Orlando.
Oh, I know, but they could drive down to the good part. They could drive to the good part of
Citrus Bowl's in the hood, man.
Yeah.
Like I went to the Under Armour game in January, and I took an Uber, and it's like, yep, this fucking it's the hood. It ain't in South Orlando where all the theme parks and iDrive and all that shit is. It's like no, that's not where that game is.
No.
There's a check cashing place next door to the Citrus Bowl. If you catch my drift, you make a wrong turn down there. Where's Church Street again? It's like, oh, you ain't on Church Street anymore. Oh shit. So yeah, you make a wrong turn over by where the Magic play, and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh. I'm in a certain neighborhood I shouldn't be in after dark.
I mean, hey, that just means it's Texas State Fair after dark, you know.
No, yeah, I mean pretty much pretty much for the most part.
Yeah, it's great during the day, but once you hit nighttime.
Orlando, I love you, Orlando, Church Street, MLK, bang, bang.
You're not wrong.
Orange Blossom Trail. Woo!
Beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Fucking Orange Blossom Trail, man. Stay out of the Best Buy parking lot after dark. Anyway, so like I said, we suck again.
We do.
We're not USC though, so
I'm surprised Did
you see that? Did you see that motherfucker cry? Go to the stands and like literally his mother covered up his face as he cried.
Yeah.
Like
I have people saying that he's gonna play the rest of, or he's gonna go to a bowl game. No, he's not. He's gonna dial
he's
in
gonna
and
opt out.
He's done. He's gonna opt out the rest of the season.
I'll give him odds he plays out because you got to remember he's trying to be the number one pick, and they're gonna throw every quote unquote red flag in his face when teams interview him. So I would be careful. I would be hesitant to say he's not going to play, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not happening. But I think it's really funny that he cried and people are making fun of him. You know why I think that? That motherfucker thought it was cute to mock Max Duggan for crying after losing the Big 12 championship last year.
Mhm.
And it's like, uh-oh, someone kept a receipt, and his name is Max Duggan. So how could you make fun of a young man for crying who gave everything? I can make fun of him easily because
Well, and
of all the people who hate him, like I don't hate Caleb Williams as much as people might think I do. I don't even really hate him in general. You know who really hates Caleb Williams? My father. He can't fucking stand him.
really?
Oh no, my dad.
I'm actually surprised. Caleb rubs me the wrong way. Just
You've met my father, but my dad was so offended by last year him painting on the fingernails. Fuck Utah. He would his offensive meter went to 11. He was just he got. Let me tell you something about you that you don't know type of one of those things. He went. They would. He just he lectured. My father yelled at me like I did it, like I was the one responsible behind that shit. And I tried to.
Again, I've met your dad. I'm surprised that
my dad in his heyday could go. He could go full biblical. But believe me, he's up there in age. He can get cranky. He's living in Kansas now with my stepmother and their.
They moved from Oklahoma City.
Yeah. They're still kind of moved. They had someone pack their stuff for them, and God bless this lady. She was taught how to pack things a certain way, so all of their stuff are packed in tiny boxes. So there's one thing in one box, and it's the most annoying way to unpack. So instead of having a medium-sized box with certain things, there's one tiny box for one thing, one box for another thing, one box. There's so many. It's you're trying to it's shoebox level stuff. You go by the back room, there's shoe boxes, and there's only there's one wine glass in one box. It's so bad. So if I was nearby, I would do everything that I could to help them unpack and put shit up. But
yeah,
I am nowhere near the Midwest or the Plain States. So I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to make the drive up this year for the holidays.
Well, if you do make the drive up, depending on where,
because I have a car that I have a car that I can actually do that now.
Yeah, well, man, I'll have to ask you off.
I'm coming for you, Levy. If Levy's not fired, I'm coming for you, Levy.
I'll have to ask you off stream where they're located at in Kansas.
We got people wanting to hire Garrett Riley.
No,
God, no.
Can we hire? Let's hire Garrett. Let's get great value Lincoln.
No, I'm still surprised he actually fired him midseason, and I don't think it was Lincoln's decision.
What, he fired Mike? It's not unprecedented.
I don't think it was his decision then either. I think that was over his head.
He had no choice. He was trying to salvage. He's like, oh shit, I already lost one natty with one Heisman winner. I can't do it with a second.
Well, that's where I'm.
He's like, I have a guy who could go number one and win the. I can't fuck this shit up. I gotta Mike, summon Ruffin. You're the. I'm gonna put you in the booth to tell the guys what to do.
I mean, he should have been fired 2-3 years ago. I'm sorry.
Well, here's the problem with Grinch, and I'll say this. I was a Kool-Aid drinker on Grinch in 19 for year one because I saw the instant improvements. I saw what things could potentially be. I saw them make plays when they had to make plays. The Big 12 championship in 19 against Baylor, that last when the defense just fucking took over, I was like, okay, you can build on this. You can do something here. And I think 2020 was a bit of a mirage because the pandemic made a lot of shit weird. And for a while, some people thought we had a defense, except that K-State game in the beginning, and where we gave up
48.
Fucking just we could have played for a national title if we don't fuck that up. But I digress. It's just, and then everything else happened, and it was just you get to 21, and it's like we have our best D line, talent wise, and God knows how long, and you don't let them play. You don't let them execute. You don't let them out athlete people. You don't let them eat unless like just the Tulane game in 21. It's like, why did we win the Tulane game in the end? It's because I should let Nick Benito, Perrion Winfrey, Isaiah Thomas, and Jalen Redmond just turn them loose. Oh, they get to play now, and they get to rush, and they get to bull rush people, and out athlete the fucking Tulane offensive line, and make Pratt's life a living hell. Oh, yeah. We won, didn't we? So
imagine that.
The problem with Grinch is that they don't like his team his players are undersized. They don't like to initiate contact or try to go, take on blocks. They're trying to avoid contact. They want to live in this magical fantasy world where, we're just going to zoom right past these offensive linemen and just like attack the quarterback or whatever. We're going to shed these blocks every single time. We're not going to have to do any techniques where we have to go one-on-one, you know what I mean? And maybe do a swim move or something. No, it's just, I'll never, I laugh my ass off when USC fans, we got Bear Alexander, everything's fixed. Oh, you got one player, everything's fixed now. They literally thought Bear Alexander, because he was a Georgia player, was going to fix everything. Boy, were they wrong. So I wish our season was just a teeny bit better so we could enjoy this a little more. But hey, I'm still going to enjoy the schadenfreude of all this. Someone actually went online and said, what if he hires a competent defensive coordinator now? And I like,
good luck.
He has to care about defense in order to do that. And plus, if he's not hiring anybody soon, because I don't think Lincoln's going to be here anymore in La La Land, unless he takes a job that opens up soon. Now, Vegas is just down the road, so that one's open. There's a good chance he could take that. But yeah, Caleb's gone, and I have a feeling Mr. Visor is gone as well. So,
well, and I mean, I've said it before. I think Grinch gets outside of him being a dick. Apparently, he was a dick.
He was a prick, an asshole. A college football coach was a prick. Get out of here.
I know. I never had a problem with Grinch's schemes. I think what he had, though, was unrealistic for what the players he wanted based on the strength and conditioning he had. He wanted,
Benny fucking Wiley.
Right. Yeah. He wanted 300-pound players with speed. That's not going to happen.
Oh, no. He didn't want 300-pounders. He wanted 280-pounders. He wanted guys who are 275 and doing that shit.
I'm sorry. 275. But
heaven forbid we had 300-pounders on our D-line. Oh, my God.
He wanted video game numbers that don't exist.
Dejon Terry would have been excised from the program if he showed up. Oh, well, what's this man doing here? What are you planning to do? Eat blocks in the middle and stuff the run? Get out of my office. Get out of my program. There's no room for you here, Dejon Terry.
Do you want to know something funny? And this falls back on Mr. Lincoln Riley himself on it. If he loses one more game, he has continued the circle of suck of starting as a head coach and regressing every year. He just needs one more loss.
Don't worry. Don't worry. He's playing Oregon.
He's going to get blown out.
Dan Lanning's going to whoop his ass. He's going to get
blown out, yeah.
He's probably going to lose to UCLA, too.
Yeah.
So.
Texas Tech on course, man.
Yeah, Riley's not coming back next year.
No, anyone who thinks he's doing it down in the Big Ten is gone. And the USC people are in denial. Like, he's back. No, he's not, guys. Like, let's take all of our emotion of it. He's gone. He's gone because he cannot do what Matt Campbell did.
You don't want him back next year because you no longer have your superhero, and you're going to be dependent on Malachi Nelson. Now, listen, I wanted Malachi Nelson like the next guy. He was part of our class that he stole when he left. asking Malachi Nelson to be anything close to what Caleb was. I'm sure Malachi Nelson has the capability of being a really good college quarterback. He wouldn't be highly rated if he wasn't. He's not Caleb. He is not that dude. He is nothing compared close to that dude. So again, just it is going to be a
USC is about to get a hard wake-up call.
I wonder if Deion Branch is available in the portal. That'd be great. Someone going to steal his ass. Deion Branch. Oh my God. If Riley's gone, if you get him to come to, I don't care how many wide receivers we allegedly have. Like, go get his ass. Like, there's no reason for Deion Branch to stay. If Riley is gone, go get him. Tamper. Riley did it all the fucking time.
I mean,
I say do it. Make it happen. What did he do? What was he in the game? Did he have any catches? I'm sorry, Zechariah Branch, not Deion Branch. My apologies. Dude, I keep forgetting he's from Vegas. DeMarco, get on the phone, man.
Here, we're talking about recruits and stuff.
Deion Branch, I'm an idiot. So, I just had Branch on the mind. I was like, Zechariah Branch. DeMarco, get on the phone. DeMarco, get on the phone.
This is just a random question. Do you think Stutzman goes to the NFL after this year, or do you think he stays one more year? Because my head says he goes to the NFL, but now my heart's going, I don't think he wants to go. He wants one more year. But I also, depending on his grade and stuff, of course.
I'm not ready to have the who's going pro discussions. Like, the only guy I'm thinking of is like Tyler Guyton as like a legit potential first round talent. So, I mean, hey, Stutzman, like, I don't know if he's gonna go pro early. I mean, if he does, I mean, Kip Lewis and Kobe are gonna still be there, so I don't think Danny's going yet if he still has eligibility. So
I don't think so either. He's got another year, but
you got to be really. I mean, all due respect to Danny, you got to be really, really, really good to go early as a linebacker.
Right, and he's
if you're an elite pass rusher or quarterback or receiver or running back or yeah, sure. Linebackers,
but you're not that Georgia, kind of that Georgia level and that Mel, on that Mel top.
Danny's good. I don't think. I love Danny. Danny ain't first round good right now. Not even close. I love Danny.
No,
but
I think
we would be having a lot more conversations if he was a first rounder, for certain.
Yeah, right now I just don't see it. I just think he's going to be back another year.
Yeah, well, it was just a thought that went through my mind of he's the best, in my opinion, the best player on the entire team. Is he gone this year, or does he
the
not
best player on the
to...
entire team?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think Peyton Bowen has something to say about that.
I mean, right now,
Peyton Bowen
experience
healthy
and everything. Stutzman's
mean, yeah, experience, but next year, healthy Peyton Bowen, who will be starting next year. Peyton Bowen, yeah, I would. My vote's going towards Peyton Bowen as the best player.
Right, I'm talking here and now for it. I would say he is the best one. Next year, sure.
Man, I would even make the argument now, almost. Peyton Bowen has been dealing with like a sprained ankle himself, so he was like, "Where's Peyton Bowen?" I was like, "Oh, he's been injured too." So
yeah.
So you haven't heard much from him doing much or whatever. He's been kind of out there here and there, but.
I think he was the most healthiest.
See, I'm excited about the defense next year. We just got to get a few more bodies to come in for we got to portal a few bodies and then have a good combo of some of the freshmen coming in. So
yeah,
and we're still waiting on the SEC schedule officially,
which is weird that they're waiting this long for it when everybody else is now like
they're it's the first year. They're trying to mix and match and try to make sure.
Because like there's some dates and schedules and everything.
We're gonna have a 2 out of 3 week bitch of a run against somebody. We're gonna have Bama and Tennessee in 2 out of 3 weeks or something. It's gonna happen.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
basically like a Bama, LSU, Tennessee run or something. I don't know.
No,
Like
they won't do LSU for that.
Like
They'll
we
hold that off.
got Bama at home, Tennessee at home, LSU on the road.
No, we don't have LSU at home.
No, it's at the road.
I said on the
That's
road.
on the road. Oh.
That's
I
what
heard
I
on
said.
the road.
That's what I said, on the road.
I thought I heard you say Alabama at home, LSU at home. I was like, no, we don't have LSU.
I said Tennessee. I said Tennessee.
Gotcha. Yeah, but they still have to
you
throw
heard
our
what you wanted
cupcake.
to. You heard what you wanted to hear. You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. We still have our cupcake schedules too that we have to have in there as well.
The old people will be mad because the game against Maine is going to be on SEC Network Plus or whatever the fuck. So,
the SEC Network. Oh yeah.
Well, it'll be ESPN Plus / SEC Network Plus or whatever the fuck next year, because Sooner Sport, the whole Sooner Sports thing is going to be merged next year. So will the Longhorn Network. Yay!
That's true. They will be. You're right.
All that shit's going away. It'll just be merged.
Is it still going to be even just branded as the Longhorn Network or just it's SEC?
It's SEC. It's gone. Doesn't exist anymore.
Ours still exists.
No, I mean it'll technically exist for like on campus shit and whatnot, but like we're not going to have a our separate deal with ESPN was like a temporary bridge till we got to the SEC officially. So in the Longhorn Network, my guess is like, all right, we have all these desks and shit. We have all this like we'll make it like a SEC alternate for certain areas or whatever.
I won't be surprised. So I wouldn't be surprised if OU Sooner Sports sticks around for it because they cover all the other sports with it. So
well, no, it's not going away. I never said it was going away. It's just that it's all going to be integrated with the SEC network.
Right.
Like the on-campus shit and everything. Yeah, you're still going to have that. You're still going to have Sooner Vision and all that crap. So
yeah. So
I'm amazed. Like I never read my comments on YouTube. So if anyone ever agrees with me or hates me, I just don't know.
I mean, I think that's good.
Because some people say I comment on your channel all the time. Yeah, I don't read your comments. Not because I don't respect you or don't. No, it's not. It's nothing personal. It's just that I learned a long time ago never read YouTube comments. Period.
Because they're frustrating for you.
They're YouTube comments. I mean,
that's fair.
Just think about you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. So
there's some gems in there though.
And plus, like YouTube's got like filters, so if anyone tries to like drop a bunch of N-bombs or something, it filters that shit out. So once they got that shit implemented, it's like, oh good, I can just all the obvious like bad words and shit. So
yeah.
And I just I just blocked a long time like a visitor to my channel who was a Texas fan. I just he left the wrong comment like during the live stream where he said this like the Cotton Bowl was just OU's Super Bowl or whatever. So I was like, okay, you're gone. That's a blockable offense to me. Anyone who says this was just your Super Bowl as like coping for losing, you're a bitch. And I will never say that about like I'm not gonna talk about that like yesterday. There was Oklahoma State Super Bowl. No, fuck that shit. That's a bitch response. You lost. So anyways, it was their Super Bowl. It's like, bitch, we were undefeated in the Cotton Bowl going toe to toe. It was your Super Bowl too. So shut the fuck up. Take your L. And we might be having a rough year, but hey, who knows? We might be seeing each other again. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
Wouldn't that
not if Levy's still around?
Wouldn't that though be ironic? And I'm just saying.
Oh, I think it'd be the funniest thing on the planet if we play Texas and we spoiled their season.
No, I think it'd be fucking funny if we played OSU again and be like, no, JK, you thought you had us in the first half.
I mean, I guess that's a possibility too. But then again, I have to see this team beat West
But
Virginia.
you need Texas to lose another game, though. Where they're going to find to lose another game,
Not-
that's going to be the question.
No, see, we're falling into the trap. We're talking about scenarios, and I need to see this team beat West Virginia first. So
Correct.
No, I'm not talking about OU. I'm talking about like Texas is what I'm saying.
Texas
you don't need
only have.
You don't need Texas to lose.
Um,
Not really. Not really.
I mean, if you're talking about
We're talking about 2 spots. So see, we're doing it. I'm not doing it. We got beat West Virginia first.
I'll say this, Gavin. Texas has shown like they want to poke fun at us. That's fine. Houston and Kansas State say otherwise. There's a possibility.
Look,
there's always something.
Texas is likely not losing anymore. I mean, never say never, but I do not expect them to. I gotta be careful when I say that because Malik Murphy's still their quarterback for the time being.
You know what game I circled?
So Iowa State.
I circled Iowa State. Yep.
Maybe because it's a back-to-back road game
Well,
for them with TCU
that,
and Iowa State.
And the Big 12 hasn't screwed Texas yet. I've circled that game of what Iowa State didn't beat us. What team can they screw them
I am
with
so disappointed. Like before our lives were ruined at the end of the game on Saturday, I was so hoping we'd see there was rumors that Malik Murphy fucked his ankle or something, which turned out to be false, I guess, because he played just fine. I was like, oh my God, are we going to see Arch? Are we going to see Arch play? I want to see Arch Manning play this year so bad. Like, I will drop everything I'm doing if I hear Arch Manning is playing just to see what's going to happen. Like the moment he throws an incompletion or a pick or something.
Yeah.
Amazing. I want that moment to be immortalized forever. Arch's first pass.
I just have
like a
honestly
pick.
not.
Have a what?
I just have not bought into Arch at all, even when.
No,
you haven't.
I
Greatest quarterback prospect ever.
No,
don't you know what?
Don't
you know what his last name is? Don't you know what his last name is? Manning. His last name is Manning. He has to be good.
Just because you're a Manning doesn't automatically means it's good.
You take that back, you son of a bitch.
I will never take that back.
You betrayed the crown.
I will stand on that hill and I'll die on that hill for.
I have declared him an outlaw.
His uncles are going to knock on your door, Gavin.
No, I don't care. You know, I can deal with Peyton and Eli. At least, if anything,
the crown. You will not speak ill.
I don't care about their Super Bowls or anything.
You will not speak ill of the crown prince of football, Arch Manning.
Right. All I will just say though too, it's like I will stay on that hill and I'll just say that Archie is not a good quarterback.
Just because you can't show a highlight reel of him earning this 5-star plus status that someone made up, you just have to take for granted that he did private workouts with Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney once and impressed them.
Once. Let's make sure we
impressed them.
Once.
He threw against air and impressed them. So
yeah, he never had to do more once because it was that good.
He dominated a 2A league in Louisiana against future Costco assistant managers. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like the worst. That is like the lowest.
Then he played like a real high school team from Florida, and his team got his ass whooped on.
Oh yeah, they got
television.
Destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Like the one play Arch made was the only play Arch made that was worth a shit. He had like a QB keeper that he took for like 60 yards for a touchdown, but other than that, it was just the decent 3A team from the state of Florida just whooped his team's ass. They
destroyed him.
Dude, there are so many good little high school teams from Florida that would just Florida's a different beast, man. It's like people talk about all due respect. There are just regular 3A Florida schools that would walk into Oklahoma with the exception of a handful of teams and just destroy people. They would destroy your team. You think your little team is cute in Oklahoma City somewhere? It's yeah, this little 3A team from Volusia County is going to walk in and just like name the score against you.
Heck, I think Heritage Hall would beat Newman, in my opinion. That's all I could say about that. I think Heritage Hall can dominate.
Like I think Jenks and Tulsa Union in their heyday would hang with some teams, but man,
Florida's their own. There's stories written about Florida, like they trash talk, man.
I'm talking like, but like there are. No, I'm like the 7 and 6A teams down here. Oh Lord, and Lord, and Lord, Lord. Like the one, like Derrick Henry was on just one team and just like he was the team. It was like, we're gonna hand the ball to Derrick Henry and he's gonna go score on you.
Yeah, but
Derrick Henry just fucking embarrassed grown children that thought they were grown.
Yeah.
What is this 35-year-old man doing on a high school football? That's a freshman, sir. He's 15. Right. He's 15 years old. He's starting for Nick Saban next week in the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, Derrick Henry. Like,
what a monster.
I still have nightmares about that motherfucker, even though we won that game.
It's the one mistake.
It's like Nick, just give the ball to Derek. Don't fuck AJ McCarron and his feelings. Just direct snap to Derrick Henry and you'll win.
Yeah. Yeah. Do any news on the Michigan front?
We're probably going to hear we're going to hear even more news this week. Here's what's going to happen, honestly. Something is going to happen to Michigan. What it is,
we don't know.
No, because here's your problem if you're the Big Ten and you're Michigan. If you're the Big Ten, because you have the power to do something, you're the Big Ten. Correct. If you do nothing, the perception is, well, Michigan runs your conference, literally, on the field and in the offices. If you don't do something of note to punish them in season, like all the crotch sniffers, like, you know, Joel Klatt and Colin Cowherd, the Colin Cowards of the world will say it was the right thing to do to not. They have to get something. They're not going to get a postseason ban. That would be the ultimate. If they did that, that would be amazing, and I'd be like, holy shit, it actually happened. Harbaugh is going to have to be suspended because you could say there's no proof that he knew. Motherfucker, everyone who's a grown-up knows he knew. He was probably running the thing. You don't have proof. But the head coach has to know what the fuck is going on in his program. So he has to take a fall on some level from this. Like Connor Stalions, like quote unquote resigning is not going to be enough. Not even fucking close. Michigan has to have some sort of penalty. Because if they don't, then the message you send to college football, let alone the Big Ten, is that, oh, well, if no one's going to get punished in season, I'm going to start my own spy network too and not get caught. So you're just asking, well, what did the crazy person do and did he do wrong? How can we do it better? Spy glasses, like the dude literally had spy glasses.
I mean, you have to appreciate the hustle.
Motherfucker had a fucking James Bond level spy glasses, and it's just here you go, 007. With these pair of shades may look like a pair of Oakleys, but in reality, they're able to zoom in on the coach of your choice and the hand signals he is making in 8K quality video recording. It will analyze his fingers and the hand movements. It will decipher what to play. It's like, fuck. So they got something. I think something is going to, because they play Penn State this week. And you can't just sit back and hope that Penn State and or Ohio State does your dirty work for you. It's not going to be enough. You can't just assume, because Michigan will finally play a game that people will give a shit about. And I literally mean the first game this Saturday will be the first game anyone gives a fuck about. Because look at their schedule. Michigan State, no one gives a fuck. Like Rutgers was like their big win this year. I don't care how good Rutgers is. No one gives a shit.
Nah,
They played UNLV. No one cares.
no,
It's like, oh, you beat SMU. No one cares that. Oh, you beat SMU. No one gives a fuck.
no.
So, so yes, I think I will be listening to local Detroit radio as per my tradition, and hear what Valenti and Rico have to say on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit. They have a YouTube simulcast stream and on Twitch. I highly recommend people check it out. But yeah, Michigan, in my opinion, should not be allowed to participate in the postseason. It's probably not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think that they have to get something. Something of note has to happen now. And only the Big Ten can do it. The NCAA at some point will get their pound of flesh, whatever it may be. But it's not going to happen for like a year, if that. So, I think Harbaugh's gone after this year anyway. So,
him and Lincoln Riley are going to be competing for the same coaching job then.
Riley's younger and less of a crazy person. Harbaugh Harbaugh is insane. No, if you made me choose who I want
insane, to be psychopath.
No. Sociopath. There's a difference.
Sociopath. I'm sorry.
There's a difference. If you made me choose, God, that's tough. My problem is Jim is getting up there in age.
But he's had experience in the NFL compared to Riley.
Well, of course, but Harbaugh just wears you down, and people can only put up with him for so long. The reason he was at Michigan forever, he's been at Michigan forever, is because Michigan, they're a bunch of pussies and they don't know how to tell him no. Like Ward Manuel, their AD, is just like an expensive Uber driver for him. That's what it is. Ward Manuel hates him, but the president of like Michigan's a big fanboy for Jim Harbaugh. So,
yeah,
Michigan's gotten away with murder over the past year and a half. You know, the NCAA's out to get them because they keep on turning up their noses at them with the whole lying to them about having a JJ McCarthy for a recruiting visit during COVID when he wasn't supposed to. Mozzie Smith with getting arrested with a felony gun charge and still playing against Indiana the year before. God, you have like your offensive coordinator having unmarked vans pull up to his house and take his computers so God, who knows what's going on there. I believe it's been confirmed it's not the one really bad thing people worry about when they take your computers. And the whole trying to ignore or sweep under the rug the whole Dr. Anderson scandal under Bo Schembechler. So that was another one. This doctor allegedly molested the entire football team and a bunch of other athletes before he died. Like, we're talking about like 1,000 people allegedly.
Right.
And there's multiple Michigan players who are like trying to sue the university and say, could you at least admit this happened? And they're not going to for lawsuit purposes. What do you want Michigan to do? I like them to make good for harboring this fucking sex pest.
Yeah.
But the national media doesn't care because it was men who were, accosted. Now Michigan State, it was like female gymnasts. So of course everyone's going to be outraged, as they should be. But when it's men getting molested, we don't need to talk about that. That's no big deal. And then you have this shit with the spying, which was just like the problem at the end of the day of the Michigan thing. Like, people try to bring up how everyone does it, or it's not that big a deal, or it's a low level violation. The problem with it, it's so fucking blatant. Like, It is like, so we're not just cheating and doing this. We are organizing it, and we have travel logs. Like, this wasn't like a one-time thing, It's not like we want to make sure we beat Ohio State, so we're going to send one guy to spy on Ohio State. They did it for everybody. Everybody.
Well,
everyone in the Big Ten.
I was trying to remember. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to check.
Like, it's so blatant. Like, if you go, that's like if you constantly drive by a school zone during the hours when kids are about to arrive or get out of school, and it's like 10 miles an hour when driving by the school in this area, and you drive by going 35 every day, and the cop keeps seeing the same car, the same driver every time, eventually he's going to fucking nail you if he hasn't done so already. He'll give you ticket after ticket, and at some point he's just going to arrest you and bring you to court. Your Honor, he keeps on driving 40 miles an hour when kids are crossing the street going to school. Throw the book at his ass, please. I have 14 tickets here where he just constantly puts children in danger. Kids are in danger, 2 years in prison, or whatever the maximum is for this. At some point, you're going to get in trouble. So, again, it's just Michigan's one of those like programs who's very snooty and thinks they're better than everybody, but
Here it is. Did you see that Purdue's mascot dressed up as Stallions in the game yesterday?
I would have dressed up as Stallions if I had time to put
You
together.
got a giant camera and everything for it. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I would have done that shit. So
like that is some top tier trolling. I think
Connor Stallions is like, he's blackballed. He's never gonna do anything in the sport again. But
him and his 600-page manifesto.
He's a Michigan fanboy, so
he really wanted to get into coaching.
Here's what I would do if I was head coach.
Here's 600 pages.
Well, that's never happening.
Yeah. Guys, we've almost hit an hour and a half. Any final thoughts on Bedlam? Any final thoughts from week 9? Any preview stuff that you want to see in week 10?
No. I had a dream last night that I was trying to find some really good Marvel Comics art to put in my house. I was looking for actual art. I was trying to find something that was signed by the late Jack Kirby.
That's a really good dream.
I was trying to see, is there any really interesting art pieces that was signed by Jack before he passed away in the 90s? And only I would have a stupid dream like that. But
no, that's a good dream because there's also J. Scott Campbell. There's not Seth MacFarlane.
You mean Todd?
Todd.
Don't get me wrong. Seth can draw. Seth can draw.
I'm thinking Todd. I'm not thinking Seth for it. There's also, John Romita. There's some good
senior or junior.
Both. Both would be a great selection.
Mm-hmm. Well, senior is his Spider-Man is the one that we associate with a lot of early merch. It's usually John Romita Senior Spider-Man. So
correct. There's also, I think, how long was Jim Lee on that run?
Jim Lee for what?
For Spider-Man, because he was on
Jim Lee.
Yeah.
When did
because Jim Lee was a part of X-Men, but didn't he do Spider-Man for a little bit?
Not that I can recall. What era are we talking about here?
It'd have to be in the 80s because he jumped to DC by X-Men.
Jim was never an artist for Spider-Man.
I thought he was for a short.
No, McFarlane was the artist for Amazing for a while. Then they gave him his own book after a while.
Right.
You're thinking of Todd.
That must be who I'm thinking of because I thought for a moment
Todd was the guy who got his run with he had about 15 or 16 issues that he did that were his, and he was the artist on Amazing from the 290s up till the 320s.
I guess what I'm thinking of was I thought he jumped to I just got my early stuff was where
Jim Lee was like X-Men, X-Force, all that shit. He was an X-Men dude. So that was Jim Lee.
And then he jumped to DC, of course, for it. Yeah. So
then there was
again though, that's not a bad dream to have. That's a really good dream to have, dude.
That was a dream. That's a dream. I'm rich now, and I want to put some really cool art in my house.
What one piece of Jack Kirby would you have?
Oh God,
if you had to pick one,
if I had if it existed, if Jack Kirby just sat down and drew anything Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, like if there was like a really cool if Jack ever did like a big collage of every character he ever did type of thing.
Yeah.
I know my buddy has a giant autographed like a giant framed image on his wall by Alex Ross of his of Kingdom Come, and it's like not Kingdom Come, but of a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it's like it's Alex Ross. Like I'll get you a picture and send it to you. It's like I'm so used to I'm so used to seeing it. It's like I keep forgetting like that's the type of thing I'd want in my house one day. It's like I don't know how much that would cost nowadays to have that thing, but it's like this beautiful Alex Ross of like, just like there's the two sides, there's the two different Superman, one holding Wonder Woman, one holding Supergirl type of thing, but it's Alex Ross art. And this is beautiful.
Oh, that's a good one. Like
if anything unfortunate happened to my buddy Juan, I'd be like, yeah, that's mine. I let him borrow it.
Dude,
I didn't have room to put it in my area of the house. So I just let him put it in the living room. It's all good. So
he was just borrowing. He was borrowing.
Like the two, like George Perez, unfortunately died recently, and I have a copy of his book that was put out of his autographed, and I got the Avengers Assemble Volume 2 hardcover of his second run on the book with freaking oh my god, the writer of the reboot of the Avengers in late 90s. It was Perez and fucking Kurt Busiek.
Yeah.
So that second hardcover was like the one with like Ultron and everything. So I got him to. He was at he lived in Florida, so he would come to Acme Comics. He would come to Acme Comics and Collectibles a lot.
Yeah.
So I was the last one in line, and I even had the last person in line card. I said, "Would you autograph this too?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." So he autographed the last person in line card too.
By the way,
I don't give a shit about autographs too, but I was like, you know what? This is George Perez. I got to get something by George Perez, and it sucks that he's no longer with us. So
yeah, and that came suddenly too.
He had been battling something, unfortunately.
I remember. By the way, I remember it now. That's why it came. Jim Lee did a tribute charity Spider-Man art piece as a tribute to Stan Lee after he passed away, and it was like
so that's what it is. Okay,
he did do it, but he never.
But I was like. I would have remembered because I had a shit ton of recent era comic books of Spider-Man. I'm of all people, I would have, if Jim Lee did Spider-Man, that would have been in my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Lee did Spectacular Spider-Man, like 203 through 217. Everybody knows that. No, it's like it's
it's one of those like guess things of like, oh, I'm going to draw it in my style type of deal.
Again, if I ever get like $1 billion Powerball, like once I get all,
we'll never see you again.
Well, no, you never see me again. But if I ever got settled in and got the house and everything like that, I would immediately start I would rebuild my comic book collection from scratch.
I don't blame you. You
because
what would be cool. My big one for it is it's not just art; it's the line art. That's my big thing. Love line art.
Yeah. But I want to get like signed lithographs and stuff like that.
You know what the biggest one is, and then we'll wrap it up. When I was at the Spider-Man Museum, they showed original. They said this is even more rare than even the line arts. They had show and comic scripts, and it had Stan Lee or Jack Kirby's notes on it. And they're like, these are the only things we even know of that exist like this. And it was just random that
shit you'd see on special episodes of Pawn Stars.
Yeah. And they said this is one of those. This is a priceless thing because you can't price it. So, Gavin, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
God bless Jack Kirby. That's what I'd say.
Exactly.
How many more days until Christmas by any chance? I'm just trying to figure
out. No, Thanksgiving comes first, Gavin.
What? You tell me I gotta skip the turkey this year?
I mean,
you cannot skip the turkey. You can't skip the turkey, man. Sorry. That's I've come to appreciate Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's yeah. If only it would only be better if we could get the Pokes or Nebraska again. That's the only thing that would make Thanksgiving even better.
Fuck the Eagles.
I mean, you've got Nebraska coming down the pipeline here in a couple years. So, guys, I want to thank all for joining. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as well. I hope this was a good, refreshing therapy session for everybody. I think
The
people need to get
fucking
stuff off their
Eagles,
chest.
man.
I think everybody need to get it off their chest. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the bell so you know when we go live or videos uploaded. Be sure to watch older stuff. Spread the news to friends and family, guys. We've hit 219. I want to keep those numbers going up. So, again, I will see everybody Wednesday. We'll preview West Virginia. Hope for the best. Boomer Sooner, only one. See everybody here in a couple days. Thank y'all.
Peace.